Well, I hope you enjoyed that segment, and we're back in the studio with Ken, Tan Ken Eng, who is CEO of Burnetters Group, Singapore and Malaysia, right next to me. Ken, tell us more about yourself. You joined as CEO, and that is for Malaysia and Singapore. Now, what makes this a good synergy? How do you optimize your position both in Malaysia and Singapore? After all, there are two countries here, and how does this help in your operations as a company in a whole?
Okay. Well, I was originally running Malaysia. Okay. And Burnetters Malaysia, and I was tasked to look after the Singapore operations in 2009, late 2009. Actually, we started talking much earlier, but it only happened the last quarter of 2009. So the brief is, and my own brief is, to grow the Singapore operations, and you know, within a year, we grew 64%, which is huge. We
That's
basically,
in Singapore?
In the Singapore operations. We basically double the size of Singapore.
And Malaysia?
Within a year. And Malaysia, we have been growing year on year, about 7-8%. Okay. This year, we'll be looking at about 34% growth for Malaysia. 34%? Yes.
Okay.
So basically, you know, back to your question about, you know, synergies and how do we operate. Basically, the two operations run independently. And
but there are a lot of similarities there.
Similarity. I think in the short term, we want to avoid duplication. We want to share resources as much as possible. The whole idea is not to cut. The whole idea is to grow. So I think short term we share resources. Long term is about, you know, putting people in place and growing it. You know.
Yeah. And just a bit about yourself. Yeah, I mean, advertising world is like a rat race. I understand there's so many people out there in advertising. You know, I'm an account executive, for example. I'm in creative, you know, things like that. And how did it start for you, and how do you grow in this whole world of advertising?
How did I start it?
Briefly.
Briefly, I got a job by mistake, basically.
By mistake, okay. No, I will write that down. Okay.
I got a job by mistake because after, you know, graduating from art school, I wrote to a bunch of agencies. I found a directory of advertising agencies. I started with all the A's and, you know, agencies with names starting from A's, and I wrote in, no one responded. So I decided to pick up my portfolio back and then walk into one.
And an advertising agency.
Yeah, and I was sitting there for about 15-20 minutes, and then someone walked out and said, "Follow me." So I followed that person into the creative department. They said, "This is your workstation."
That's it.
So I sat down and started work, and 1 week later, this person came back and asked, "Oh, excuse me, you're not so-and-so, right?" I said, "No, I'm not." So what happened was someone else who were coming in for the job did not show up, so I got the job.
You know, I think that we share some similarities there.
So a bit of luck and a bit of you know, dumb, naive, you know, walking into an agency without an appointment got me a job. Yes.
All right. Yeah. And out of all the latest projects, let's move on to some of the projects that Burnetters is in, which is of course the Wish project, and the latest, of course, is Proton.
Yes.
Yeah. Can you share with us more details about your Proton project?
Yeah. For Proton, basically, we are still at the initial stage. There's big plans set for Proton. Hopefully it'll come alive next year.
Why is it taking quite some time here? Only next year?
It's actually the same reason why we did not participate in the pitch 2 years ago. Because at that point in time, I think they had a new team, and people were just coming together, and we felt...
So the situation is still very fluid.
Yeah, we 2 years ago we felt that the brand is not ready. Okay. So that's the reason why we did not participate in the pitch. But today, I think if you look at the leadership, you look at the people within the organization, I think they are, you know, very serious about turning the Proton brand around. So all our work should come on next year when things are in place. You know, things are in place. I think part of it are already in place. They have better products. They have great cars like Exora, Persona, Satriani, they just launched Inspira, better quality product. I think one of the testament is Dato Sri coming. He was interviewed, and he told the press about his experience in a taxi from KLIA to home.
Right.
And he noticed that the driver refused to wind down his window, and instead opened the door at the toll.
Right.
So he asked the driver, the taxi driver,
why do you open the door?
Yeah, and the taxi driver said, "Oh, I heard if you use it a lot, you'll break down." And I believe a few days later, he came out to announce that, if anybody's power window breaks down, he will get it replaced for free. I think that is a sign of confidence. That's a sign of pride and belief that the brand will get better.
Okay, so based on all these elements, Leo Burnett is expected to raise that level of confidence that people have with the national car maker.
Yes.
Is that right?
I think it starts from within the Proton organization. I think from every touch points, from customer service to after sales service, how people pick up the phone, and every touch points need to improve. I think they're improving. I think with Dato Sri as Dato Sri Said Zainal, leading the team.
Do you feel that this is going to be one of the biggest challenges for Leo Burnett?
It is. The reason why we participated in the recent pitch, for Proton is because as Malaysian, we want to see Proton succeed, right? I think.
So you can't fail.
Yeah. So that's national pride, because the brand is not just about creating vehicles for people to get from point A to point B.
But there's a lot of skepticism as well. While we're talking about it being a national brand, there's also a lot of skepticism in the brand itself.
Yes.
So that is something that Leo Burnett would need to study very carefully and perhaps work on. Yeah.
So I think what we can do is communicate the attributes.
Yes.
What we can do is communicate the positive changes that is happening today. I think coupled with the improved service, after sales service, and products, I think it shouldn't be a problem.
But it is a very high profile account worth about 45 million ringgit, is that right? Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm just relating market talk here.
Actually, I'm not sure, because we don't get everything, because the money goes into many areas, like media. I think buying media space.
Are you handling
production.
that as well?
No, we don't. Yeah, we are pure branding, advertising, communication agency. Yeah.
Okay. Can you give us perhaps a little peek of some of the advertisements that you will be having for Proton, perhaps?
Yeah. The new campaign is still PNC, but if you look at what has been running in the general press, the tonality, the way we present the brand, I think that is where we're heading, basically. The confidence, the assurance, we talk about value. The way we communicate is very basic, down to earth, so that people can understand.
And speaking of communication, you've always been known for your festive ads that you do for Petronas, and that's of course credited to the late Yasmin Ahmad, who was the head of creative, right? I would say at Leo Burnett.
Yes.
Would you say that all that is sort of lost, with her passing?
We miss Yasmin a lot, right? I wouldn't say things are lost with Yasmin gone, but I believe Yasmin is still around, in spirit. I believe Yasmin is still around because of the people she have touched and shared in terms of her knowledge and her experience. And a lot of these people are still in the agency.
What is your experience working with her?
Well, Yasmin is a super intelligent person. She's a no-nonsense, to the point type of person. She's superb when it comes to people.
Has this left a major impact on Leo Burnett as an advertising agency in Malaysia and worldwide?
Definitely. I think, you know, that's the reason why I feel and I think and I say Yasmin is still with us. Yeah.
And do you think Humankind, this book that Leo Burnett has published, which is to change human behavior, you could hold it up actually.
Yeah.
That's a great reflection actually.
Yeah,
that it's
sure.
supposed to reflect us as human beings, and it's called Humankind.
Yes.
Yeah, can you tell us briefly about that?
Well, Humankind is our philosophy. It's based on our culture.
Leo
Burnett's way of working and the way he look at things and how our work should be. It is about understanding people, changing behavior. Basically, you know, it's about helping brands to find their brand human purpose.
Okay.
It's not a benefit. It's about finding what your brand means to people, how people feel about your brand. Right? So once you understand that, I think, you know, it will help chart the company's strategy, the brand strategy.
And there is a way to measure, right, that change of behavior, I'm sure.
Yes, there's many ways, hard ways, soft ways, and, you know, this book also talk about acts and participation. Because Leo Burnett, we have our own 4 Ps. It's about people. Basically, we need to understand people. And then change their behavior. It's about purpose, finding a brand human purpose. And the 3rd P is about participation.
Cool.
And the last P is about populism. You know? So if you look at Petronas, it's based on populism. It is becoming a pop culture. Like what you said earlier before the start of this interview. You look forward to the Petronas commercial.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
No matter what festive season.
Yeah.
Okay, we need to wrap up right now actually, but you are giving away some copies, of Humankind. And about how many copies are you taking away the mirror? Okay.
Basically, you know, I'm giving away 3 copies for, you know, anyone who have the best email to, you know, Anne Edwards.
Yes, sure. And the email address would be swatwatch@bernama-tv.com. We'll have that address on your screen. And Humankind is all about Leo Burnett's philosophy, how they change human behavior, and of course this is through advertisements and their creativity. Thank you so much, Ken. It's Tan Ken Eng, who is CEO Leo Burnett Group, Singapore and Malaysia, right here in the studio with us. And after this, we'll have CEO Trivia in our next segment with Nazira. Stay with us.